So in the first hour of 2024 NBA free agency, we saw some players re-sign with their teams, but now in the following hours, there's been some news involving an all-star, future Hall of Fame point guard, and a top 3-and-D player switching his team. So let's talk about it all with the writer for the New York Post and a contributor to the Action Network, Bryan Fonseca, joins us now. Bryan, through a couple hours of free agency, I don't know for you, it's been a little uneventful for me, but how's it been for you so far?
I mean, I love free agency. Just this time of the year, I love being able to get work done the entire time, whatever the case may be. It's been noisier the last couple of years, though, but honestly, the CBA is kind of ruining the fun because now
Yes.
it's harder to make things happen. Teams are hard capping themselves left and right. They're trying to avoid the second apron and all these different things. And it's making it difficult for more casual basketball fans to sort of follow this stuff. People watching may not know what we're talking about, but
We'll try to help them. We'll try to help
yeah.
them, educate them. But I do agree, it's taking some of the fun out of it. I agree.
The NBA could make this easier on its consumers, and they don't. But we are where we are.
We are where we are. Let's start with it, Bryan, because the Clippers, they released a statement just a couple of hours or within an hour ago of us recording this, that themselves and Paul George, they are parting ways following a significant gap in contract talks, and that George will sign with another team. Now, the Sixers, they're expected to be the front runners to sign PG-13. Do you like the forward as a fit in Philly, and how do the Clippers move on with life after Paul George?
Tell you what I don't like. I don't like that statement. It's just weird. You know what I mean? I don't know if this is something that required necessarily a statement, but okay, it is what it is. As for Paul George potentially joining the Philadelphia 76ers, this is something that's been reported on, especially in the last couple of weeks, and it looks like it's going to be the case. Now, if it does happen, because we'll still use if as a qualifier here, it makes the Sixers very interesting in the Eastern Conference. That's, again, going to potentially provide a lot of parity outside of, we'll see where the Boston Celtics are, but they're filling out their roster. They sign Eric Gordon as well. They sign Andre Drummond. If Paul George is the big domino that falls, then you're looking at Tyrese Maxey, Jared McCain, who they drafted in the first round of the draft out of Duke, who is going to be a fun player in that lineup as well. Joel Embiid, obviously, and we'll see what they do with Paul Reed and Ricky Council IV. But the Philadelphia 76ers have a nice roster, a nice top three, but we've seen the Philadelphia 76ers be overly ambitious and fail time and time again. So I can't really condition myself to saying, hey, they're absolutely going to be front runners to win anything right now because I've seen this movie with them time and time again.
Oh, understood. Understood the doubt there, but we'll see how that all plays out and what the Clippers do moving forward as well. Now, within the first hour of free agency, we learned that the Warriors waived Chris Paul. Now, CP3's got himself a new home. He is joining the Spurs. Do you like CP3 in the Alamo City, and how much do you think he can help reigning Rookie of the Year Victor Wembanyama?
And Devin Vassell and Keldon Johnson. We'll see what happens with Trey Jones. Maybe he's on the way out. Jeremy Sohan, thank God, doesn't have to be a point guard anymore if he stays there because that experiment was dubious, I will say. And obviously, drafting Stephon Castle, for example, which was one of the best players. Like, we're going to look back one day and be like, Stephon Castle was actually one of the best players from this rookie class. But Chris Paul being in San Antonio is a lot of fun. He's not ring chasing necessarily, but I do think he can help this team just in an impactful way. All the photos here we have of him and Victor Wembanyama, by the way, are great. I hadn't realized that they interacted with each other that much. But Victor Wembanyama, we're all projecting is going to be a superstar if he's healthy, and that's sort of the big thing there. But defensively, he's already one of the best, I don't know, 5'3", some people would say top 2 or 1 defensive players in the NBA. And Chris Paul is going to be, someone who is going to know how to throw an entry pass, know how to throw a lob, know how to execute a pick and roll, a pick and pop. They needed a point guard. They have a point guard, and they have Greg Popovich too, who I think him and Chris Paul is just like, that's just basketball heaven for like the junkies out there. They're going to do some very fun things, and I hope that they're at least competitive because they could be fun to watch, and it's going to be a good experience that we'll remember for those young guys, and obviously people will focus on Victor Wembanyama in particular, but moving forward, like, it's going to be fun to sort of look back and be like, hey, remember when Chris Paul was a Spur? That kind of helped them out.
Yeah, I think he's a pretty good fit and can help him out. And now you said everybody around them, that's young players on the Spurs. It's not just the reigning Rookie of the Year in Big Vic. He's going to help out that team in a major way. Now, the Nuggets, got to talk about them. They lost a key piece of their 2023 championship team, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. He's going to sign a 3-year, $66 million deal with the Magic. Now, Orlando, They struggled with their outside shooting last year. Do you like the signing of KCP with the Magic and think that he can help them?
The Magic were second to last in three-point attempts per game last year, third to last in three-point attempts per 100 possessions, bottom 10 in three-point percentage. And Kentavious Caldwell-Pope has shot above 40% from three for the last 5 seasons, and he's hit 38% from three in multiple playoff runs. And oh, by the way, he's been a starter on 2 of the last 5 championship teams, the Lakers of 2020, Denver Nuggets of 2023. He guards the other team's best guard. Oftentimes, he is just perfect for this roster. I still think Orlando needs a shot creator, but that's something that they still have the finances to address. ESPN's Bobby Marks pointed out that their projected cap space is somewhere around 30 million now, so they could potentially go out and sign somebody else to be a creator or trade into that salary and acquire somebody in that way. But with Paolo Banchero, with Franz Wagner, the 2 guys that led the team in assists last year, being able to find Kentavious Caldwell-Pope open on the wing, that's going to be very advantageous to them. Like, I love this signing. There's a player option in that 3rd year, so it's team friendly as well, and it's friendly to Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. It makes a lot of sense. And ultimately, I think this is going to be something that helps a young team because you get a great glue guy here, and this is a team looking to make a step. I think Kentavious Caldwell-Pope only helps that.
All right, Orlando Magic looking to make a step forward off of last year's playoff appearance where they lost in the first round to the Cleveland Cavaliers. We'll see how it all goes. Had some action first couple of hours of free agency. Glad to break it down with Bryan Fonseca, a writer for the New York Post and contributor to the Action Network. Bryan, appreciate the time. Enjoy the rest of free agency, and it'll get a little busier, hopefully a little more fun too. Hoping for that.
Yeah, more fun and more weird things like the Jonas Valanciunas signing to the Wizards. I love how random that was. So
a random weird signing is always good too. I agree. Thanks, Bryan.